Thank you so much for coming to Mosquito Mate's grand opening. I'm Carla Blanton. I'm chair of Commerce Lexington, which is the local chamber of commerce. And it's always great to gather with our board of directors, investors, council members, and special guests for the opening of a new facility in Lexington. To make the announcement official, I'd like to invite Mayor Jim Gray to the podium.
My goodness. Carla, thank you so much, and welcome. As Carla said, welcome to everybody here. You're going to hear more about the science and the technology from Stephen Dobson, the founder of Mosquito Mate, member of the entomology faculty at UK. And Dr. Capilouto has already said just a minute ago when he was walking in, he said, "Hello, Stephen," and he said, "I get to officially tell the story today." Wasn't that it? He says he loves telling this story, and I can imagine hearing it myself once or twice that why he does. But it's so rewarding to be at an event like this where we can celebrate a university city and what all that really means. Because what Dr. Capilouto, what the president has done since he's been here, what his predecessors have done before him, but how he has leveraged this university city and how the university today is doing just that, the research that's underway here at our university, and then the work that's going on beyond the walls of the university, just like what's here today, the research that translates into new jobs for our city, and the vitality then. I love it when the president talks about the vitality of a city and how a city can contribute to the quality of life, and then the attractiveness to hire new faculty, to recruit students and staff to the university. And I think that's perhaps maybe what we'll hear today. I'm going to say just a few things more about where we are as a city today. Fortunately, and with the help and the guidance and the leadership at the university, our city in the last few years has created over 15,000 new jobs, more employed in Lexington today than at any time in our city's history. Our unemployment's gone from 7.7% in 2011 to 3.7% today. And importantly, our workforce participation rate is well above state and national averages, meaning that those who want to work are finding jobs in Lexington and Fayette County. So a big thanks to Dr. Dobson and so many others for the research that's going on today, creating exciting new companies right here in Lexington, and once again, with bold face and italicized, I'll say thanks to UK and the leadership at UK for its support of our city and our citizens. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Mayor Gray. We appreciate your support and partnership in all of the economic development efforts going on today. Next, I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Stephen Dobson, who is the CEO and co-founder of Mosquito Mate. And I also had the pleasure of joining him as we went on the DC Fly-In last year, and you really captivated the crowd in attendance with everything that you're doing here, so we're excited to be here today. The Bluegrass Business Development Partnership, or BBDP, is a collaboration of Commerce Lexington, UK, and the City of Lexington. The BBDP has enjoyed working with Dr. Dobson and his team since they spun out of the university. With each visit, we learn more about mosquitoes and how your product, the Zap male mosquitoes, will help meet the demands of mosquito-borne diseases and pest control in the United States. You have a great story to tell about your company, and we're looking forward to hearing more about your expansion in Lexington. Join me in welcoming Dr. Dobson.
Thank you so much to everyone for coming out today and standing in the heat. Thanks so much for coming. To begin, to quote a famous physician, from those who have been given much, much is expected. And today we celebrate the opening of this new facility, which represents the latest progression of Mosquito Mate, its people, the technology that it represents. Mosquito Mate has been given much, And many of those who have given their time and talents and resources are here today celebrating in the crowd. So just to mention a little bit, a small bit of of those that have invested in Mosquito Mate, I think the best place to start is always the beginning. And so that would necessarily be the University of Kentucky, which is represented here today by many people. First and foremost by Dr. Capilouto. Thank you for coming. But also the College of Agriculture and the Department of Entomology, represented here by Dr. Reddy Polly, faculty, and even students who have joined us today, taken away from their busy schedules, Caitlin Stamper, Amanda Skidmore, and others who are here today. So thanks so much for coming. UK is where this technology started, and it was UK's investment and some pretty expensive equipment that allowed this technology to be invented and eventually patented by the University of Kentucky. And you can imagine how eyebrows were raised when we were describing this vision of releasing mosquitoes in people's backyards and that people would be happy about that. But they supported us both through the supporting of the science, but also the commercialization. And that commercialization is also represented here today by many groups, moving from the bench to commercialization. So Ian McClure, the Office of Tech Transfer, has played an integral part in the IP protection and those technologies. Carl Nathy and the UK media team in producing these explainer videos that help people to understand the technology. Eric King and those others that are with him that have walked this technology around Congress and introduced it to our political leadership, many of who are here today. And we're pleased that Ms. Sims is here today representing the office of Senator Paul. And beyond UK, we're also very thankful to those many folks that have helped to shepherd clumsy scientists down the path of commercialization, including the folks at the Von Allman Center, the Kentucky Innovation Center, Dee Fife and her advice in everything from developing a website to letterhead. And of course, there are those that have provided financial support. We thank those people who are here today, specifically in the form of grants. KSTC and the Cabinet for Economic Development, who are represented here today, as well as the federal support that we've received from the National Institutes of Health and CDC. Thanks to the advisory board members who are here today, Shannon Bass, Gordon Garrett, Bill Gordon, DeSalvo, accounting firm represented here by David Rudy today. And for this technology to work, we need lots of mosquitoes. And so a special thanks to Faradyne Systems, who are here today, that we've been collaborating with, Chris Mitchell, Zach, and others, in working to better automate the process of making mosquitoes, to make it more affordable for those that need them. And a special thanks to Stites and Harbison. Bill Gordon is here, as well as Elizabeth Darby, who have done their best to keep us out of trouble with wise and sound legal advice. And then a special thanks to Hannah Crumrine and others at Commerce Lexington, who, in addition to arranging today's event, thank you very much for doing that, have been a constant proponent as well as a champion for us and the technology that it represents. We are also immensely thankful for the support of the Lexington-Fayette County government, led here today by Mayor Gray and also joined by members of the Fayette County Council. So thank you for coming today. And all of this history and support has led us to the present. And I cannot say enough about the current and past Mosquito Mate employees who are here, folks like Jimmy Maines and Corey Brailsford, who have really been there since the earliest of stages, back when they were grad students. Jimmy's just back from working in the Florida Keys. He just landed this morning. He's been helping them with the releases of the mosquitoes that are ongoing there now. Corey Brailsford, who's been part of the technology from the very earliest stages. And really, it is the employees of Mosquito Mate that have really made this possible. And also the newer folks that are here at Mosquito Mate, Kelly Jackson, Zach McKinley, and a whole new team of summer workers that have just joined us in the new production of mosquitoes, as well as monitoring mosquito populations that are going on. It's really the Mosquito Mate family that's the reason for its success. And importantly, we owe a great debt of gratitude to the homeowners of Lexington, who have volunteered their homes from the very beginning, back when Jimmy was a graduate student doing some of the very earliest work. We have representatives who are here today. Lee and Victoria Meyer have joined us today, so thanks for coming. But really, that's who this is about. Those are the people that this technology is intended to serve. So today we're here to celebrate the opening of the second Mosquito Mate facility, and it would not have been possible without Will Bacon Construction, and the numerous contractors with whom he's worked, the builders and the workers that have made this space possible, and also our new landlords who have joined us today, Doug Creech and Lloyd Stafford, as well as Block and Lot, who worked with us to negotiate this current structure. So congratulations to you. Really, this is a celebration of your accomplishment. Most of all, I am thankful for the constant support, sweat, and too many tears of my wife, Karen Dobson, She never ceases to surprise me, and if you're here today, it's probably because of her. She really deserves most of the credit for Mosquito Mate and where we are today. Love you, Karen. And there are more to thank yet, but for the sake of brevity and the fact that we're all getting very warm, a lot of names are going to go unmentioned. But just please know that a large reason for the success that we enjoy today is because of you. And so in closing, Mosquito Mate has very much to be thankful for. We have come very far in just a few years. But that said, we continue to have substantial challenges. For example, we are currently having to remain patient with the EPA as they continue to consider the regulatory status. We're hopeful, and we've been told that this is going to happen very soon, but we continue to wait. But let the EPA know that once they have made their decision, hopefully very soon, that Mosquito Mate will be ready and better prepared because of this new facility that we're here to celebrate today. So Mosquito Mate has been given much, and importantly, much is expected. The challenges that we face are growing more difficult due to new invasive mosquitoes, introductions of exotic pathogens like Zika, dengue, West Nile, and also the development of resistance to existing chemicals used for controlling mosquitoes. And then lastly, because of a changing climate. And so, as symbolized by this new space and facility, Mosquito Mate will be ready for that fight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Dobson. On behalf of Commerce Lexington, we want to thank you for your investment in the community and for the addition of the new jobs that will be coming to Lexington. Next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Capilouto, who is president of the University of Kentucky. Dr. Capilouto is another BBDP partner and a big supporter of economic development efforts here in Lexington. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Capilouto.
Thank you, Carla, and thank all of you for being here today. I first heard Stephen's story when, by chance, we got seated next to each other on a flight out of Lexington. He pulled up his laptop, and so I got my one-on-one sort of behind-the-scenes explanation of the science, and I was intrigued and exciting. And it's a compelling story. And it's one that's repeated day by day at the University of Kentucky. And what is that story? Here you have a scientist that labored largely in obscurity, worked for years to answer a problem that could stop a horrible public health calamity. He has these breakthroughs, he moves it towards commercialization, and then reminded me of how dedicated and how good our faculty are. He spends about 15 minutes of his 17-minute remarks thanking everybody that got him here today. I like to say at the University of Kentucky, Our success is the result of lots of mothers and fathers. And Stephen, I appreciate you taking the time in such a charitable way to recognize all of those people here who got you to this place. And this story is a Kentucky story. We're a story of momentum, and there's a lot more that can come out of the University of Kentucky. And the mayor's right. Our fates are intertwined. If we're going to attract the talent here, we try to build the infrastructure and the space. They come for more than just work. It's the quality of life. I told the mayor the other day that I made a phone call to someone we're trying to recruit, and at the end of the conversation I said, you're somebody that wants to be where the action is. You want to be on the action to solve the problems that we all face day to day. And that's the kind of place Lexington is. And what a story of two faculty members coming up with a solution that has global implications. And as Dr. Dobson pointed out, all those different diseases have wreaked havoc for years. And then the Zika virus, one that can break someone's heart in terms of birth defects in children, that really cripple a family for a lifetime. The chance to intervene in a safe way that doesn't harm the environment is a tremendous breakthrough. So what does all this mean that we do at the University of Kentucky, that Dr. Dobson and over 2,000 faculty make happen, and it's often invisible? Every year, according to our analysis, the economic impact of our research at the University of Kentucky is over $580 million. It results in $20 million in state and local taxes, and it also creates over 8,000 jobs. So there are more stories like Mosquito Mate. There are more to come, but it's going to take all of us working together to have more days like this. So I want to thank Mayor Gray, Carla Blanton in Commerce Lexington, Terry Samuel, who you're going to hear from in a moment, and the Kentucky Science and Technology Corporation, and all of you who've come here today to share in this success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Capilouto. As our last speaker, I'd like to introduce Terry Samuel, who's the Executive Vice President and COO of the Kentucky Science and Technology Corporation, KSTC. Mosquito Mate has received federal Small Business Innovation Research grants as well as state matching grants. And you may or may not know, but Kentucky offers one of the best and most competitive SBIR, STTR matching grants in the nation. These grants assist small businesses in conducting research and development and developing products, technologies, or services. This program is administered by KSTC. Please join me in welcoming Terry Samuel.
Thank you, Carla. As she just mentioned, I'm with KSTC. I'm going to give you a 2-minute tutorial on KSTC. We start in middle schools, we continue up through high schools, and we try to introduce science and technology, or science and mathematics training, now adding computer science. We work with a lot of small companies through the Kentucky Innovation Network, which is statewide, where there's 12 offices. But the thing I want to spend a minute on now, or a couple minutes on, is what Carla just introduced. We start with KSTC administering programs on behalf of the Commonwealth with what we call KSEF, which is Phase 0 and 00 grants. We help companies go out and try to win federal SBIR money. What the SBIR program, it's a federal program where the big agencies within the federal government commit R&D dollars to small businesses like Mosquito Mate. Phase 0 and 00, we spend some time trying to teach those companies how to win those grants. Those are very competitive. A lot of companies don't ever get them. Most companies don't get them on their first try. And so what we do with the Phase 0 and 00 and a lot of other education that we do, classes and webinars and seminars and all of those things, is help Kentucky companies compete and go get those federal grants. Once you win one of these competitive federal grants, then, as Carla mentioned, we have one of the most competitive matching fund programs. It's funded through the Cabinet for Economic Development, which we work with very closely. I lost Chad Eames He was here. There's Chad. Chad's a very close partner with KSTC in executing the matching funds program. And the interesting thing, I think it was actually Jimmy I think I was talking to about this, is going after intellectual property. When you get a federal grant, you can't use the federal grant to fund getting intellectual property rights, getting patents. That's where the state grant comes in, the matching funds. Again, very competitive, but with the state grants, Mosquito Mate has gone after getting intellectual property, which is going to protect them, protect their IP, and protect their future. Once we go through the matching grant program, through all of that, we continue education, we continue mentoring and counseling. We do that through the Kentucky Innovation Network. And what that does is help Kentucky companies commercialize their intellectual property. Quite often that comes out of the university system. So why did I just give you KSTC 101? Because Mosquito Mate is the poster child. They were in one of the first classes that we ran on how to go compete for an SBIR grant. They got a phase 0 grant from KSTC, which is state money, to go and get the first federal NIH grant. They did a phase 00, which is again a small stipend, so that they could compete and win for a phase 2 SBIR grant from the National Institutes of Health. They did that for a second one with their second technology, and which Jimmy was explaining. There's the dusting, and then there's the sterilization. And I won't swear to understand all of them. All I know is that I won't have to swap my arm quite as much when I'm out in the backyard. And then they continued to work with the Commerce Lexington, with the university, with the city, with the Kentucky Innovation Network to commercialize this. And the result here is we're about to cut a ribbon on a new facility. So my hats are off to all of the Mosquito Mate team, to Jimmy and to Stephen and to the whole team, because you guys are the poster child. You have taken all of the steps that help companies commercialize, to help companies take a technology out of a place like the University of Kentucky and turn that into jobs. So congratulations. I'd like to thank the whole team on behalf of the Kentucky Science and Technology Corporation.
Thank you, Terry. As you can see here today, the current success, and I think ultimately the future success of economic development in Lexington relies on a team, local, state, public-private partnerships in making this happen. So we're excited to be here today. It's a great success story of the grant program that Terry talked about, and it's an excellent example of the commercialization of technology from the university. I know that our economic development team assisted Mosquito Mate in site selection process, but they will continue to work with you and support you as you grow in Lexington, and congratulations on your expansion. If the media has any questions, we'll take those now. If not, we'll proceed to the ribbon cutting. Are there any questions? Okay, let's cut the ribbon.